Welcome to the Crystal Self-Healer Podcast. I'm Corissa Weaver. On this podcast, we blend the magic of crystals with the science of psychology to help you break free from chaos, ditch the overwhelm, and master your emotions so you can have more energy, get more done, and feel better every day. Get ready to unlock your intuition and restore your true power as we cover how you can transform your life using crystals and self-awareness. Are you ready to get started? All right, let's go. Have you ever felt like you didn't belong? Like you were an outsider looking in? I grew up in a family-run business. My parents founded and managed a thriving music business in the town where we lived. So naturally, when it came time for me to start working, of course, one of my first jobs was working in the family business. One of the joyful benefits of being the boss's daughter was that when I entered a room where employees were gathered and in conversation, they would all stop talking and look at me in absolute silence. There is nothing worse than feeling like you don't belong or that you aren't wanted to be where you are. For empath and sensitive women, it can be a challenge to take up space when you feel like you and your presence is being questioned. In episode 8, we talked about creating an energy shield with crystals, and we're going to be building on this concept by talking about how you can fortify your energy so that you can boldly claim your space no matter where you find yourself. We'll explore why you might feel unwelcome, how these feelings show up in your life, and what you can do to shift out of them. Using my experience of walking into rooms and having people clam up just waiting for me to leave is just one example of various ways you can find yourself internalizing feelings of not being welcome or like you don't belong. As sensitive women, you often look for cues from others to validate your sense of being welcome, that you fit in, that you belong. And when you don't get that, you habitually make that mean something negative about you, like you're different, you don't fit in. And then you most likely shrink. You find yourself dimming your light to not draw attention to you in an attempt to try to conform in order to fit in. Let's be honest here. There are some times and places where you legitimately may not be welcome, and those circumstances are not the ones we're talking about. We're talking about the times and places where you are allowing an insecurity or a past experience where you were excluded to become the lens you see yourself through when it comes to feeling like you can get involved or hold value. I've watched my daughter experience these moments as a teenager, when a friend she has been close with starts to spend more time and get closer to another one of the girls in the group. The feelings of abandonment, the questioning whether something is wrong with her, the worry about being rejected, the reading into all the ways she's not included and making it mean something that maybe it doesn't mean. While learning to navigate friendships is part of the rite of passage of being a teenager, she's spent lots of time in a space of worry and fretting and not enjoying herself as a result. When these feelings of not being welcome arise, you might find yourself experiencing some of the negative side effects. Maybe you start to avoid events or interactions in order to prevent feelings of rejection. And your brain will be really sneaky about this because its primary objective is to keep you safe. So you may not even see how or where you're cutting yourself off from people, places, and things that you could otherwise enjoy. You might feel less confident in yourself and your abilities because you have an internal narrative that reminds you that you aren't interesting enough, or that the people around you don't like you, or that you don't belong where you are. All this does is keep you in a space of feeling disconnected and lonely, struggling to form or maintain meaningful relationships. No matter which way you've come to feel unwelcome, whether it's real, imagined, or how you've developed coping mechanisms to help you manage, you can shift all of this by fortifying your own energy. Let's not forget that the more you think about something, the more you see it and find confirmation for it. So all these negative biases become your reality. And this is what you want to be addressing when you fortify your energy. Fortifying your energy is when you close any energy leaks you are experiencing. Energy leaks can be like death by 1,000 cuts. Each one individually isn't significant, but they add up and become overwhelming. Some leaks may have been present for years, and over time you've forgotten your capacity to release the hold they have on you. As many empaths and highly sensitive women can relate, you don't want to be an inconvenience, so you often make yourself small to avoid creating a bigger problem. You become so accustomed to avoiding conflict that you don't voice your opinions or stand up for yourself when challenged. Your needs often fall to the bottom of the priority list. You read into situations assuming you aren't wanted or welcome, or that you don't belong. Fortifying your energy is building your resolve for when you know you're going to be dealing with someone that you find taxing or boring. This is holding boundaries for when you are going to be in a situation with people who may or may not respect what you are willing to deal with. This is remembering that you are an autonomous individual who has the prerogative to say no as a complete sentence without needing to explain yourself. A few years back, there was a viral video of a young girl standing on a bathroom vanity saying positive things about herself into the mirror. This is a good analogy for what we're talking about today. Fortifying your energy is about embracing your true worth so that whatever is going on outside of you has no opportunity to penetrate into your energetic experience and negatively impact your vibe. If you're wondering if you could benefit from fortifying your energy, I invite you to consider areas of your life where you lack closure. Unfinished business, things left unsaid, decisions you've been avoiding, comments made by people around you that you're still thinking about. Identify situations and circumstances where you're not enjoying your life, you're feeling drained, or you don't energetically feel welcome in this world. Each of these situations create an energy drain. By closing these energy drains, you fortify your energy, freeing yourself from constantly holding onto loose and unfinished ends. When you create your own form of closure on situations, you stop living them out in your mind. You get to rewrite the stories you tell yourself about whether you are worthy enough to be in the room or embark on new endeavors. If you find yourself saying you don't belong somewhere or that you aren't an expert, do a double check. If you're pretending to be a surgeon and you have not graduated from medical school, then maybe that little voice in the back of your head is correct. But if you're questioning whether you have the ability to start that business you've been dreaming of, or to speak up to some of the stronger personalities you come across in your life, you absolutely do. If it's the thought that you don't belong in the room to learn how to become a surgeon, that's the thought that needs to be evaluated for its validity. If there's anything you take away from this episode, it's that you're allowed to take up space. You are an autonomous individual. You are meant to be here. Just the fact that you are here is all the permission you need to take up space and exist. No one can take away your divine right to be here. And you don't need to make yourself small or invisible for other people's comfort. In 2010, researchers at Harvard and Columbia found that power posing had positive psychological, behavioral, and hormonal outcomes, suggesting that common everyday events like job interviews, presentations, and important meetings could benefit from them. There has been a lot of scrutiny applied to the original research, and one of the original researchers currently does not stand behind the research. However, here's the thing I think is relevant here. As empaths and sensitive women, there is a tendency to avoid conflict and assume a sense of powerlessness. And studies as recently as 2020 have indicated that posture does matter when it comes to subjectively experienced feelings of power. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about whether you are owning your right to be here, to strive for what you dream of. And in a society that is rife with rules or designated paths for doing things, when you feel that you have no place being there or doing that, it can keep you stuck in a cycle of being less than who you crave to be. I'm not advocating for anyone to be reckless and claim that because they have self-validation, they can now be a surgeon or send people to Mars without proper training. I am saying that you deserve to be in the room to learn from people who can teach you things, and that your thoughts and perspectives are valid and belong in the conversation. I've watched as some of my clients, when they start to become more emboldened with having self-validation and boundaries, that their pendulum swings all the way over to the other side. And while this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it can be swapping one extreme for another. If your loved ones or the people around you aren't used to you having and holding boundaries, they may need some time to transition. Unless that person is not interested in your emotional well-being, at which point they will most likely revolt. So being prepared for dealing with whatever fallout you may experience is good. So really know what your boundaries are and really stand firm in your divine right to be where you are, enjoying your life. You are more powerful than you think, and with just a few steps, you can fortify your energy. For this work, I am going to suggest you use sunstone. Sunstone is a vibrant orange to red-brown crystal with sparkling inclusions associated with the sacral and solar plexus chakra, making it a perfect ally when you desire to boost your confidence, optimism, and self-worth. It is a wonderful crystal that inspires joy and a positive outlook, which will help you shift your focus from negative self-talk to more positive and empowering thoughts. It is often associated with personal power, independence, and self-empowerment. So you may find it boosting your confidence in social situations, as well as when asserting personal boundaries as needed. With Sunstone's ability to enhance motivation and enthusiasm, you may find yourself feeling less stressed about social anxiety or have less feelings of not belonging, and may find yourself more willing to pursue your interests. Use your sunstone as you ground through physical sensation or as you do visualization exercises to fortify your energy. The best part about fortifying your energy is that you will have more energy. You won't be expending mental, emotional, and physical energy on things you don't necessarily need to. You'll have more clarity of mind. Your thoughts won't be as muddled or confused. You also get to feel more confident, finding the courage to step out and try things you maybe haven't had the nerve to try, or to do some of the things you know you need to do for yourself that you've been avoiding because you are just too tired to deal with the backlash that may happen. Remember, you are allowed to take up space. You are an autonomous individual. When you abide by rules that don't fit your narrative, you create friction, cognitive dissonance, thinking negative thoughts. You get to decide whether you continue thinking thoughts that cause discomfort and pain, or to shift your focus to your well-being. You can choose to change the rules that disempower you. Fortifying your energy is about recognizing your worth and protecting your energy from external influences. By closing your energy leaks and setting your boundaries, you empower yourself to live more fully and confidently. If you're interested in doing more of this work, reach out. Let me know. I can help you. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might benefit from it. Connect with me on social media and let me know your thoughts and experiences. Today's episode has been brought to you by Sunstone and Power Posing. May we all find joy and freedom through healthy boundaries and self-validation in our divine journey. Blessed be, my friends. All right, my friends, that wraps up this week's episode. Thank you for joining me here today on the Crystal Self-Healer podcast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave a review, and take the What Crystal is Best for You quiz linked in the show notes. Join me again next week as we continue to demystify crystals, how your brain works, and how you can use them so you can have more energy, get more done, and feel better every day.